my beloveds. I am so pleased to be with you this morning, to have a cup of coffee and to take a few minutes to visit. I'm running late. I don't know why. I think I'm still feeling the effects of that hour time change a week ago. It seems that life has been that proverbial like molasses in January this week, but I know that it really is March and spring has sprung. The first crocus leaves have been spotted out in the garden along the path. Now, no blossoms yet, but the moment that the leaves arrive, you know that things are coming along. It seems like a perfect time then to talk about that C word, change. I know, you were hoping I meant coffee, didn't you? It's interesting. Things do change. Life moves on. You learn lessons every single day. And then every once in a while, something from the past will emerge, and you realize just how different things are. This little teddy bear came to me this week. My beloved is so good to me, and just because he thought I would like to visit with him, it came to live at our house. Now, Carl is a sweetheart. He knows that in my former life, I am the artist that made this little bear. And I haven't seen him since 1994. His name is Baltimore, and he's been through a lot. He's not exactly like he was when I made him all those years ago. But then I'm not exactly how I was when I made him all those years ago. Life has changed us. Change isn't necessarily a bad thing. It just is a different thing. I know you would be shocked if I told you that there's a story I want to share with you about that very thing. You see, once there was a mother and a daughter who were one day visiting an antique store. And looking around, the little girl decided that she would look on one side of the store while her mother browsed in another section altogether. Intrigued by a darkly colored vase, the little girl, who was only about 7 or 8 years old, picked up the vase and then noticed that a coin was hidden deep inside. Instinctively, she reached her hand into the vase for the coin, clenched the piece of money in her fist, and then tried to remove both her hand and the coin. Of course, her clenched fist was stuck, and clearly she was upset, so she attracted the attention of her mother and the store owner, and yet because the vase was dark and they couldn't see inside, they didn't recognize that the problem was actually fairly minor. So they tried everything to free her hand. Eventually, the mother paid for the vase, worked with the store owner to gently break it open, freeing her daughter's hand. And when they did, you can imagine their frustration when they realized that the little girl, if she had simply opened her fist, her hand would have come free easily. Aren't we kind of like that too? We hold on to the way things were. We mourn because we are in a different place than what is comfortable or familiar. But the truth of the matter is, we are different people. And if we go back to a particular set point in a particular set time, then we lose everything that has happened from that set time to where we are today. I guess this is been on my mind this week as I've been making preparations for us to come together in in-person worship on Easter Sunday. And after a year away, my intention is for us to gather in our beloved sanctuary at the church building. But things will feel different after all of this time. But remember, different doesn't mean bad. It just means different. There have been so many lessons that we've learned this year. There have been so many things that are just not quite the same. And yet, it will be good to be able to pick up and be in the midst of something so familiar. Don't you agree? And yet, I guess my afraid thoughts this week have been wrapped around, will it be okay? Will our congregation be all right? We've been through so much, and yet we're still learning new lessons. We're coming together in a familiar place. Jesus is still in the heart of it. And yet, beloveds, I know it will be different. I've had some phone calls and conversations this week with folks that are excited to come back home. I echo that. But I'm excited to come back home with a new vision, to come back into the midst of that sanctuary that is so beloved in our lives, and understand that our community of faith is different this year than it was last. And it will be all right. We've learned so much, beloveds. And although we may be in a familiar place, we may feel comfortable for a moment, it will be okay when the discomfort sets in, because it'll simply mean that we have been in the midst of a journey. So, have a cup of coffee, my Bear mug, because of my Bear Baltimore. Pour yourself a refill. Listen to the piano pieces that Miss Janet put together for us this week. You'll find them on our website, Malone Centenary UMC.org. Oh, it's going to be one of those days, huh? And plan on coming to the familiar yet different time of gathering Sunday after next. This week you'll get a mailer in the mail with a palm cross, because we won't be together for Palm Sunday, and a letter and a meditation to help along the way. You are constantly in my hearts. You are constantly in my prayers. We are weathering this time apart together, and I am looking forward to being actually in your midst very soon. Peace be with you, my beloveds. I'll talk with you again soon. Bye-bye.